Xin chào tất cả các bạn. Hôm nay tôi và đứa con trai Takara mới vừa hoàn thành xong chuyến đạp xe 10 ngày, 1.000 cây số đi một vòng từ Sài Gòn đi qua Bù Gia Mập, rồi qua lại ở công viên Tây Nguyên lên Buôn Mê Thuột, rồi về lại Bảo Lộc, rồi xuống La Ghi, rồi đi dọc biển về lại Sài Gòn. Hôm nay thì tôi muốn cái cơ hội để Takara chia sẻ với các bạn vài cái suy nghĩ về chuyến đi cũng như là cái hành trình phát triển sự nghiệp của bạn ấy. Your father is a chemist. Didn't trying to influence you to become a chemist?
Being able to create something that I have in my head and being able to see it doing what I'm doing is, I found very fulfilling.
Takara, tell me what are you doing at this point in time? What you're doing in school and what you're studying and so.
Yeah, so I'm a third year PhD at Stanford, so studying computer science.
What area?
Area of what's called robotics and graphics. A lot of my research right now is focused on taking the athletic intelligence of what people and human do, like the ability to do things like cartwheels, backflips, the sort of athletic intelligence feats, and seeing how we can apply those same skills onto robots. With hopes that eventually they'll be able to do things that are more useful. If you've seen a lot of the demos of like the humanoid robots, especially the Unitree G1, like running around, jumping or flipping, it might have been using my work.
Okay, so it's a good starting point, and see how did you get to this point in your career. Your father is a chemist. Didn't trying to influence you to become a chemist?
Well, several years ago, I took his class, and it was not very fun.
Is that hard?
I think chemistry is hard. It's a different area that has its own set of challenges. I'm someone who likes to build with their hands. I like to make stuff, and something that I learned in chemistry lab was I'm not a big fan of just sitting there pipetting.
Okay, but how did you find your interest or decide to study what you study in college? When did you starting to, and how did you determine that that is what you want to study?
Yeah, so growing up, I had a lot of Legos and like Kinects and those sorts of like toys, and I really liked building stuff. And toys that were like mechanical, like I remember having a little RC dinosaur that would walk on two legs and have a tail, and I would take those things apart with a screwdriver because that's just what I thought was fun. But being able to build stuff, those sorts of experiences, I think, gave me some drive to like building stuff. And so in middle/high school, I started a first robotics club. And first robotics, for people that don't know, is it's like a competition for high schoolers where for the theme for my year was play basketball. And so the idea is, you get these robots, you design this robot with your high school team, and they go and collect the balls and they try to shoot it into little score points. And that experience was very formative for me because it told me that I really like doing this. It's something that I find interesting and a lot of fun. Being able to create something that I have in my head and being able to see it doing what I'm doing is I found very fulfilling. And at that point, I sort of realized I really like robotics, and that's how I figured out this is what I should study in in university. So, uh, and so that's what I did. I studied mechanical engineering, learned how to build the body of a robot, um, and but eventually I realized that that's not enough. Like I could build whatever I wanted to build, but like it was just a hunk of metal that really couldn't do much other than like very simple things that I told it. So I realized at that point I needed to switch into some sort of AI or learning based approach, and to acquire that knowledge. So then I transitioned into computer science for PhD,
Ah,
master's and PhD.
so it's an interesting that you mentioned that you start playing around since your middle high school, uh, and you find interest. And you said you decided to go mechanics. Is your parents have a lot of pressure you on selecting any uh, field that or they let you make your decision?
Uh, no, there was no pressure in career selection. I don't think there was any pressure in even deciding to go to college to begin with, actually, um, or grad school, or being in a good school, actually.
But tell me, is changing from mechanics to computer science or to AI easy?
For me, it was very challenging. It's a very completely different area. Um, a lot of different maths and a lot of different approaches. In mechanical engineering, it's predominantly physics based. So a lot of it is, you sit down and you um, do equations based off like Newton's second, and it tends to be a little bit more straightforward in that sort of respect. So for that branch of math, I'm a little bit more comfortable with. But once you start switching into computer science, you start having to do things like logic, um, things like mathematical proofs, things like computer programming. And now you're getting into areas of AI where nobody has the correct answer. And so it's a very different mindset to go do these things. So having to learn that was challenging.
Tell me an experience of how challenging your first year in
Yeah, okay. So the first quarter, I took there's a foundational math class that everybody has to take, CS 103. It was a very infamous class. It's known as it's a Weeder course, um, and you make very long lasting friendships in that course. Um, to give an example, I spent about 30 hours on one homework assignment and got like a B out of it. These homework problem sets were extremely long and extremely challenging. So my friends and I would be spending at least 30 hours a week just for one class, trying to learn and understand it. And it was brutal. It was very brutal because the grading scheme was also very unforgiving too.
because it's a weeding class.
Because it's a weeder course. Yeah, yeah.
By the way, let me explain the weeding class is a course that if you pass, you can maintain in the program, and if you fail, that's the class that gonna filtering who will be able successfully to complete the program. So
Yeah.
they want to kick out all of the students that have a low probability of completing the program. So that's a weeder class. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sent a lot of people into therapy. It was extremely bad.
What's your typical study week look like? Your classes and homework and sleeping and your pattern look like during your first year?
So during my first year, because I was doing a master's, not a PhD, and the difference between the master's and PhD is master's is mostly course based. So I was maybe spending roughly 40 to 70 hours per week studying. Um, Sleeping it was challenging at times, of course, as with any student has to go through. Everybody has to go through this. There were nights where I just wouldn't sleep for like 1 or 2 days, especially during
1 or 2 days you don't sleep?
for final projects, or I would take like 1 hour naps because like the project has to get done.
So what is your future plan? What are your visions you do what after you're done with your PhD? What do you want to do?
So one of the challenges that I want to tackle is bringing the humanoids, robots that we see, into our daily lives. We've seen the promise of sci-fi movies like Star Trek, Star Wars, a lot of these movies where they show really cool robots doing extraordinary things and also being can be very helpful. And it looks very attainable. It should be attainable, but for some reason we don't have it quite yet. And that's something that I want to tackle in the future.
So how are you going to do that? Is you go to work for a company, or what's your future plan in that regard?
Well, I would like to build my own lab, build my own community um, to tackle these problems. I'm hoping that one day this problem will be solved and we can move on to other problems, another thing. But I would like to stay in academia as a professor to accomplish this task.
Is that your father tried to force you to become a professor?
No, no.
So your father didn't influence you in much at all in your career choice at all. It's your decision very much.
I'd say that I have a lot of influences. I mean, I'm sure that I was not pressured in any way to become a professor, but it tends to align with the things that I like and um, the values that I have. Stop doing that; it hurts a lot. So just stop. And so I have to remind my body and my needs that I'm the boss.
Okay, good. Let's go into a different topic. You just finished riding 10 days bike continuously, no breaking. How the people is just wonder, when was the last time you sit on the bike that doing that kind of 30, 40 kilometers or even 100 kilometers a day?
3 years ago. Yeah,
3 years ago.
about 3 years ago. During the last bike trip.
Okay. Our last bike trip in the north of Vietnam.
Yeah.
So since then, you have not sit on the bike to bike more than 10 kilometers or things like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then you go directly into 10 days on a row on the average of 100 kilometers a day.
Yep.
You as Superman or what?
No, not at all.
What is it like when you first sit on the bike and and go through that help you to get through the last 10 days? Because it's your own experience, different from mine. Okay.
Yeah, so I can give an hour by hour breakdown of first day. When you first start, you've got a lot of energy, and so it's actually really, really easy to just bike. You've got the energy, your muscles are nice, they haven't been pushed too hard, and so you can pedal for about 1 or 2 hours before you start feeling fatigue in your knees and your quads. And then after about 2 to 3 hours, the sun starts hitting you from up above. The heat starts sapping your strength from you, and you start getting fatigued and you start getting really tired. And your muscles start breaking down and they start hurting, and then your knees start hurting too. Uh, and you keep biking and keep going because you still have some energy. And around maybe the 5th hour or so, at least for the first day, I started getting completely winded. About 1 to 2 hours before we finished, it becomes extremely difficult to keep pedaling, and it's something that I've had experience before, where eventually, your body will tell you you can't go anymore. Your knees will tell you stop doing that. It hurts a lot, so just stop. And so I have to remind my body and my knees that I'm the boss, not them. They don't tell me when to stop. I tell them when to stop. And so I shift down to the lowest and the easiest thing, and you just grind pedal after pedal. And something somewhat miraculous happens where, at a certain point, like, you keep thinking that it's your last. This is the last stroke that you can take, and then you just do one more, and then you think that's the last stroke you can make, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then eventually the sort of warning signs and the sort of pain just sort of starts to fade out, and then you're
Most
done.
people probably quit at that time.
I think you will encounter this regardless of your fitness level. You could be the most athletic, you could be the most unfit person. You'll end up going through this process where your body will fight back to try to keep you safe, and it'll fight back to try to keep you from losing all of the fat storage that you've accumulated. Your body very much wants to protect your fat, and will try to do everything to get you to not exceed your limit.
Well, your friend at that point kind of producing, 1,001 reasoning to tell you to stop.
Yeah. At a certain point, a lot of thoughts just start going through the head, right? It's like you're trying to hit every stroke that you can, and just your mind starts panicking, and it just starts throwing random thoughts and just like lots and lots of thoughts at you. You have, or I had that just sort of like one thought, which is, that at the end of the day, that this will be helpful for me, or this will be better, or I'll come out on top. That sort of thought just is the one that sort of keeps me from going astray to the other, like, thousands of other thoughts that are popping up, that are, crying and telling me to me to stop pedaling, because it is a very painful experience. Yeah, so that was the experience of the first day, day 1 of day 10.
So how's the second day? Did you the first night? I remember that when you hit the bed, I remember after you took the shower, check in and take a shower, and you hit the bed and you snore so loud. you were sleeping like a baby right away for like 3-4 hours, right straight shot.
I don't remember if you know that, or I don't know if you remember that after I woke up, I couldn't walk normally.
Yeah,
I was walking with a limp.
Yeah, you keep
And
massaging your left knee.
It was my right knee.
Your right knee.
Yeah, because it just wasn't, it was so painful to move it. Hurt a lot, yeah.
But you didn't complain that much. And whenever I asked you, is that okay to continue? You said, yeah, let's keep going. So how's the second day? Let's go through the day.
Well, the second day you designed it to be a little bit easier, shorter, right? And so the second day was a little bit easier than the first day. But of course, every day you're going through this, you restart the same cycle. And so again, the same sort of thoughts pop up, the same sort of thing happens. One thing that I tend to, this is more for the third day. So the second day was actually we went through it quite okay. It's fine. Slept through it okay. It was still painful. Copy and paste the first experience to the second day. Third day we started our climb.
Yeah. The third day we went to the national forest Bù Gia Mập.
Yep.
Cho nên Bù Gia Mập là công viên quốc gia với dãy núi khá là cao.
And hills are something that I really like. Mountains are something I really like because they present a challenge that's somewhat concentrated within a shorter period of time. Not something that's like 8 hours, like flat terrain where you just keep pedaling. But it's like, okay, for this like 2 to 4 kilometers, my foot is not gonna reach the ground. And that sort of thought is what sort of drives me as I go up the mountain, that, you know, I can go as slow as I want, I can do whatever I want, but just don't touch the ground with my foot. Right?
Don't stop.
Don't stop. And what makes hills particularly challenging versus flat ground is that you don't have momentum on your side, so you cannot coast. Like in flat ground, I like to pedal a lot, and then I'll stop for 5 seconds, take a break, I'll pedal a lot, and then I'll stop for 5-10 seconds, and then take a break. But for these hills, like 10 and 15, 10 degrees and up, you can't stop. The second you stop, you fall. So you have to do a constant power output. And that really forces you to
concentrate.
And every foot has to go. Every foot has to keep pushing. Because if you stop for just 1 second or one stroke, you're done. You're out.
Hey, it seemed like the first day I torn you apart, and the third day we go up the mountain. It is 2,000 meters gain in elevation. Did you push yourself to complete the third day, given that your first day is so terrible? Is that your knee still doesn't get a bust on you?
Well, at that point, my left knee started to hurt. This seems to always happen where one knee will hurt, and then I'll use the other knee, and then that'll hurt. It's going through the same process where eventually my mind or my body realizes that, yeah, at the end of it, I'll be okay, or I'll be able to complete it, or I'll come out on top. But every day it's going through the same process of, I have to one stroke after the other, and your body just trying to...
Yeah, one stroke at a time.
One stroke at a time, and your body just continuously yelling at you, telling you to stop. And then having to either, ignore those thoughts, or not ignore, but just like concentrate on the one thought that it's gonna just take me to the next stroke. And then, fourth day onwards, your body starts becoming more conditioned. It starts getting used to the workload, and your body starts becoming a little bit more numb, and your mind starts getting used to this cycle, and it becomes much easier and much faster to transition out. At a certain point, there comes a time after your body has been conditioned and your mind has been conditioned, around the fourth day of doing this for like 8 to 12 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day, that something sort of happens where, like, for me, I couldn't tell if you asked me if I had enough energy to do 5 more kilometers, I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you. If you asked me if I had enough energy to do 2 kilometers, I couldn't tell you. 1 kilometer, I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you that I'll have enough energy for the next stroke, sort of thing. And so there's something surprising to me where it just comes out that, yeah, my body always is able to produce the energy for at least one more stroke.
Yeah, you're the one that decided that then let not take a break. Not that I convince you. Yeah, I just mentioned that well, we have the total trip about 1,000 kilometers, and the total is 11 days with a day break. And you said, now I like to have the 10 days with 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded better, right? 1,000 kilometers in 10 days than 1,000 kilometers in 11 days, right?
Yeah, it sounds, the number is, but professional bikers, they usually say that in 3 to 4 days, you need to have a day just rest, doing nothing, let your muscle relax. Even our trip in the northern Vietnam, every 3 days we have a day off climbing. So that was easy. This time we continuous pressing the body. It's hard. It's not even me. I never bike more than 4 days straightly on the road. Always have a day break. So how's it after the fifth day after Bumatuk? Then 6 days is starting easy, right?
Yeah. And the last 2 days of the trip was either downhill or mostly flat. Um, but it's probably advisable to take a break.
Yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't suggest for people to just keep doing, 10, 20 days straight. It's probably not healthy. But for a very short challenge like this, I'm very well aware that it's not something I'm not doing this every day for the rest of my life. It's just a short period of time where I can stress the body.
Yeah, that's amazing. For the fact is you haven't biked for 3 years, not 23, 2 years, and then sit on the bike again and continuously biking like that. What is your lessons, or what is going through your brain during that? Besides in pushing one bike, what do you think in your brain? What do you think about your work? Do you think is when it's not require you to focus so hard that to up the hill, up the mountains, when you see the sign, nice, flat terrain, nice sceneries and things like that? What going through your head?
So once I start getting to the point where once my mind starts having a little bit more energy to expend, some things I do think about are research. Some ideas that I have just, in the background, just thinking, come to light, and that's one train of thought that tends to happen. Some other things that I think about during the trip are actually, especially during when things get difficult, are finding little things to laugh at, funny things. My humor tends to be nonsensical, so I'll see something, and when you're pedaling, and and you're running out of energy, you start getting, or I start getting agitated a little bit, and I can feel myself get a little bit agitated. Um, so I'll find something funny to think about and laugh it off, uh, and that can walk me down from either frustration or agitated back down to something a little bit normal, and that helps me again refocus on keeping the pedals going.
Do you ever thinking about life, your different aspects in life uh, at all, rather than just work? Just
Um, yeah, a lot of thoughts tend to come up when you're sitting alone on a bike for 7 or 8 hours. you know, there isn't much to do other than to take in the scenery and to think. So a lot of thoughts tend to come up. Um, Past relationships and certain other things tend to come to the forefront.
so what the whole experience to you, the bike is not, do you learn anything that besides just beating up your body?
um,
You was eager to do it again. Why did you want to beat your body again after you get done? Is that mean you train your brain, or your experience somehow has been positive as
there,
for the past 10 days that you said, I wouldn't mind do it again?
there's a lot of benefits that you get out of a bike trip that I personally enjoy. One of them is after the end of the bike trip, um, my mind becomes incredibly sharp, becomes incredibly focused, and it makes it super easy to do work and to come up with thoughts and those sorts of things. I also have a body that feels a lot lighter and stronger than before. And on top of that, I get to see a lot of sights and gain a lot of new experiences that I wouldn't have had originally. Um, and so it's a somewhat combination of these factors that make me want to continue doing these sorts of trips. Provides a very good detox from my current living. Puts me in a completely new environment, a completely new set of challenges. Um, that's exciting and fun.
It's a very interesting. I want to dig that your thought is that hey, if you keep banging on a certain problem, right, day in and day out, perhaps you need to have a break, a short break, to have a different problem, different scenery, different problem, and maybe that help your brain clear your mind and go back, look at your old problem that you're facing before, uh, with a different angles, with a different, with a sharper mind.
Yeah, I think for me at least, it isn't so much about taking a break on this particular problem, but um, rather detoxing from everything else. So, for those of you who don't know, I drink a lot of coffee because I'm always working and I want to keep working. So I tend to stay up late, wake up early, and then drink lots of coffee, and then I just keep this cycle going. Um, and so over the course of this trip, You haven't seen me drink any coffee.
Nope.
No, zero caffeine, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I've been drinking what 3 to 6 liters of water every day. Right? I've been sweating. I've been working up sweat. Um, and so it's mostly about resetting the mind and the body. Um, is the main focus, not so much as taking a break from the current research problem,
Yeah.
but it probably benefits to
Yeah,
some degree.
during the bike trip, you mentioned a word that interesting me. That you said you want to hit the reset button in your life course, and can you share with uh, that what is all about the reset button that you wanted?
Um, yeah, so I think one of the well, like I was saying a little bit just a few seconds ago, um, a lot of my life I go into a routine where I get up, I drink a bunch of coffee, I work, I go home, play video games, watch anime, go to sleep, and repeat the cycle. And I end up in this routine where I drink a lot of coffee, I eat a lot, I don't exercise too much, um, and I can feel my mind becoming a little bit more dull. It becomes slower to think, it becomes harder to think. I'm consistently tired all the time. And so having a disruptor in this sort of life, in this pattern, can be very helpful because it puts me in a completely new environment, um, completely separate from the one that I'm currently partaking in. Because when you're in this sort of routine, it becomes very, very difficult to break out of because it's your default mode. So you need some way to take yourself out of it. And this experience tends to be that for me. A very good way for like 10 to 20 days of just doing something completely new, completely different life.
Does that reset you at all?
It does, yeah, it does. Um, when I go back, it tends to stay persistent for about 6 months to about a year before I fall back.
Before you call your dad and said, "Dad, I need another
Yeah.
reset."
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not something that you like. You'll almost always fall back into a routine. That's how we work and how we operate. So it's not something you can just hit the reset button in once, right? You just have to keep hitting the reset button multiple times. There are a lot of really crazy people at Stanford, highly competent people that make you significantly question your own capacity of whether you should be even in this place to begin with.
Well, we talk about your bike trip and you talk about your careers and how about your social life? Do you
So,
do you have some sort of a balanced social life? People usually say, "Guy like you like a nerd."
sure. Uh, I think I've got a healthy social life. I have friends from high school and from college that I still talk to and still hang out with. Um, in fact, I use gaming as a way to stay in touch with them and to socialize.
Oh, you play game with your
Yeah,
friends in
online
Asia.
games. So that's how we sort of stay in touch. Um, I have friends, in my at my university and in my clubs that I attend, and we hang out and we do things like watch movies sometimes and go eat out and stuff. So I think it tends to be healthy, and it's not something that I'm particularly unhappy about. I don't feel the need to force myself to interact more than I already do.
So, what do you think? that people in your generations, like 20, 30 years old, what they should focus on? In your opinion, what do you think? What are you trying to do? And your priority list?
So my views are probably very skewed and limited towards,
Well, everyone view is personal.
yeah, that's fair. Um, but since I'm in this sort of same sort of cohort of people, the people I interact with tend to be small because I'm in a college, and so the people I interact with all tend to have a very similar um, mindset in this regard, where we prioritize learning and building, a lot of education, and gaining new experiences and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, all of this tends to be fun. Like college has never not been fun. It's been great.
Is the environment, the educational environment at Stanford is give you a lot of pressure at all, because the student bodies are very highly motivated, and they are very ambitious.
There are a lot of really crazy people at Stanford. Highly competent people that make you significantly question your own capacity of whether you should be even in this place to begin with. And it's called an imposter syndrome. And I had that initially too at the beginning. But luckily I had friends who were also struggling too at the time. But you always get in a class of 100, you'll always have the 20 students who just do everything in finish assignments in an hour and say, "Oh, why are you guys taking so long?" Like it's so it's not like your peers are trying to pressure you into doing it at all, right? But there is an internal thing that you kind of want to do well. You want to fit in with the community a little bit. And then I have to remind myself that I'm on my own track here. I'm doing my own thing. And it's better to focus on myself than focus on others, sort of thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Takara, for agree. Now this is impromptu. I did this warning at you, and I said, let's go and have breakfast and do something new. This is very new. This is the first time I try to do this, and perhaps you have a record. Never know. One day, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40 years back, you have a record when you have your kids, and you said, your dad went to that trip, and see, there, I tell you, the first day your experience when it's fresh, and then it recorded down, and you give it to your children. Your children is yeah, and maybe those days you're gonna be similar to me. Hey, you go with taking with me.
Thank you, Dad, for taking me on the trip. If I had known that I was doing this, I would have actually done my hair and probably worn better clothes.
No, it just like I said, impromptu. Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã theo dõi cái buổi nói chuyện hai cha con, cha voi với con. Và hy vọng rằng là các bạn sẽ tìm đâu đó điều gì thú vị trong cuộc sống của mình, hay là chia sẻ hoặc là đồng cảm với những cái chia sẻ của hai cha con ngày hôm nay. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.